Welcome back to IT145. We're in week 2. I think it's a pretty straightforward week. I'm gonna show you a few things. I would suggest that you maximize your screen before I get to it. But before we dive into the week's work, a couple of things about last week's work for the most part. This is just a broad observation over many courses that I've taught. First of all, please don't use a generative AI like ChatGPT to create your essay answers. ChatGPT will create essays that are uh, long-winded, use lots of big words, says utilize when it could say use instead, uses lots of third person, uses lots of passive voice, too many adjectives, too many adverbs. And what it creates is something that really lacks lived experience, that really doesn't feel like a person who is there. It's really obvious. And it's bad writing. So you say, that's okay, professor. I'm gonna use the chat prompts to tell it how to be better and make the words shorter and use lower level English and make active voice and have it rewrite itself. And once you've done all that, you might have well just written the essay. Once you've convoluted it and changed it and made it, just do the assignments. And the same thing comes for trying to cheat. If you go Google IT145, how do I pass it? And try to get solutions to problems you could. They will have all been submitted before. They will be available on the web. My software will know about it. It'll pop up an error message. I have to start either contact academic integrity or do my own good faith investigation, and then eventually we have to go to academic integrity. I don't want that. You don't want that. It's a at best it's a hassle. At least at worst it materially and significantly negative impacts your college experience. Um, like, you don't want that. So, and by the way, you could still say I'm going to cut and paste, but then I'm going to change the words. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to make it my own. You could do that, and some people have. In order to make it your own to the extent that it doesn't register as a red flag, you might as well just do the assignment. If you get stuck on the assignment, I'm available. That's what this is for. My success is your success. Like the way I succeed is by helping you get through this. So if you have reasonable questions, we'll work through it. The only way you're not going to succeed in this class, there's maybe 2 ways. You don't put in the effort, or you don't reach out for help, or maybe you genuinely don't have the aptitude to be a programmer. And that's okay. Not everyone has the temperament for it. And there's a lot of programmers that can't draw, and certainly a whole lot of programmers aren't any good at basketball. So we all have different gifts. But cheating your way through it hurts all of us, because we want graduates that can go and do the work that we claim they can. If they go out into the world and they're not very good, then the whole university's name gets brought down, and we all fail because of that. And it's just a little bit at a time. It's just a little bit of, we're going to prefer to hire out of other schools instead of Southern New Hampshire, because those Southern New Hampshire graduates are marginal. And not so much wouldn't be if we did the work. So I'm speaking to a very small percentage of all the students, maybe none of the students in this class, but I had to say it. Let's dive into the lesson. So Module 2 is relatively straightforward. You've got your Zybooks, you've got a Zybooks lab, and you've got instant feedback on writing a class and writing a class dog and cat. Now, if you just read that and you click on write a class dog, new tab, instant feedback's going to load, and you're going to say, what the heck is this? I do not understand what this is at all. What are all these things on the side? Now, this is me. I've already made a couple attempts at this. You might not have this. But if you edit the solution and then you submit, you will get all these things. And I don't know what any of it is. Of course you don't. It's not your fault. The actual assignment is below the instant feedback tool. So what you'll do is you will write using the instant feedback tool. You'll get feedback until it says you're good, and then you'll submit it under the 2-3 assignment. So here we have the guidelines and rubric, which will tell you how to write your dog class. There's a unified modeling language class diagram. These are objects. This top one is pet, and dog and cat both inherit from pet, and they add new things to pet. Dog adds space, number, weight, and grooming. Cat adds space, number. And of course, it's got a constructor and then a getter and a setter. Now you'll notice when I mouse over, now it's not doing it. There it is. Maybe I need to wait for a second. There is a way to mouse over and get it to reveal. There it is. Plain English explaining the UML class diagram automatically generated. The pet variables, all variables, the pet methods, the cat methods, the dog class. So it's right there when we mouse over it. It's pretty nice. Now, what are we going to do in the instant feedback? And I've already given you a start for it. Public class dog extends pet. We click, well, let's go back. Shoot, we'll submit this. So public class dog extends cat. What does that, extends pet? What does that mean? It means there's a base class called pet. You saw that at the top. Dog has all of the things that pet has, plus more. This is called inheritance. It's an element of object-oriented programming. It can be very powerful. So one of the earliest uses of this was Windows, where you would have pop-ups and you would have radio buttons and text boxes, and you could borrow some of the behavior and then you could extend it in some small way. So you could build a dialog box that inherits from your base dialog that also contains some buttons and some text for you to click on. This turns out to be very useful when you have, at a college, you might have a person class, and then student and employee, and faculty, these all inherit from person. In fact, maybe faculty inherits from employee, because faculty is a specific kind of employee. And they can have special data, and they can have special methods. So let's go ahead and edit this, and I'm just going to show you, well, I wanted to talk about the feedback. So it's missing a constructor, it's missing space number, it's missing weight, it's missing grooming. Let's just add grooming. So when we can go in here, what is grooming going to be? It's going to be a private Boolean called grooming. How do we know that it is private? Because in our little plain English mouse over, which I'm not sure exactly how I trigger that, our little plain English mouse over is going to tell us that it's private. It just popped up, and I just made it go away. There it is. So we say the dog class method variables are da 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 da. All variables are private. It's about halfway down toward the middle. The dog class methods are blah 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 blah. All methods are public. So you access it through the methods, and the data's private. So someone accessing it from outside does it through the methods. That's important because if the data changes in the future, the public interface doesn't. You're not going to, anyone who's trying to connect to you through what we call the API, the application programming interface, isn't going to break, even though the internals can change greatly. So let's talk about how to do that. So it says the methods are public. and we're going to do public Boolean. So grooming is going to be yes or no. A Boolean variable is true or false, so it makes sense. We're going to return the grooming with get grooming. Return grooming. And then we're going to have a void. We're not returning anything, called set grooming. And there'll be a Boolean called groom. And we'll say, that's not the best name for it. Maybe define groom or set groom. It's like that. So on the way in, we pass set groom, and we assign the grooming value to it. If I wanted to use Hungarian notation, I'd put a B in front of grooming, which we talked about last week. I'm not going to do it here because I believe the variable names are given to us, so I'm just going to use what the class gives us. And so you have getters and setters for dog space number, grooming, and dog weight. You also have the constructor, which is public. It's the name of the class. And I'm not going to define it here completely. We'd want to have the names of the variables that you get passed in, and then you would assign them to your variables in here. So let's run it. Let's submit it. It's going to say, well done keeping, and we can now read about it. So it says grooming is okay. Correct declaration. The accessor for grooming looks good. The setter for grooming looks good. I'm not going to do any more than this because it's your assignment to do, obviously. But this is how we're going to fill it out. And you get feedback, so you can click on things. And it'll say, hey, you need to create, it'll tell you what you need to do. If you get stuck, ask me. I'm happy to talk about it. And I wanted to make this short, so when you're done, you highlight over all of it, you cut and paste it. I'm gonna go to assignment 2, and you'll submit it. You'll submit the assignment. That's it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. If you have anything you'd like me to talk about in these little lectures, send me an email, and I'd be happy to talk about it. That's what we're here for. We're building this semesters as we go instead of dropping them all at once. So I hope that means something to you. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you in grading land. Because that's what I'm about to go do. So have a great day. Thanks. Bye.